Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Annie Z, back at it with the long awaited What If Ash Started With Mew Part 7, the Unova edition. So let's get started. We start off the journey with Ash, his mum Delia and Professor Oak, which is kind of sus because he's always with her, heading off to the Unova region, with Ash only having Mew. As they were in a plane entering Unova airspace, the cloud darkened. After landing, Ash and Mew, who were curious, go walking around the airport when suddenly a blue lightning bolt crashed down. Black clouds formed around Ash and blue lightning dissipates, revealing itself to be Zekrom. As Ash's eyes widened. "Zekrom," Ash said. "Ash Ketchum, you have many of my brethren, the legendaries, under you. Let us battle to see if you have the ideals to befriend me," Zekrom said. As Ash smirked, he flipped his hat backwards. Ash then sent out Mew, urging it to use Ice Beam, damaging Zekrom because of its high level. Zekrom responds with a Fusion Bolt, which Mew tanks due to its high level. Ash then has Mew use Blizzard, which connects, freezing Zekrom a bit. Ash then throws a Pokeball as it wiggles 3 times and the stars come, symbolizing it has been caught. He then meets up with Delia and Professors after catching up with them. They then go to Professor Juniper's lab, where Ash meets Trip, who's surprised to find out Ash is the winner of 4 leagues. Not believing it, he challenges Ash to a battle. The reason Juniper never told him about the legendaries is because Ash requested that nobody knows about it. So once Trip chooses his Snivy, he starts a battle with Ash. "I'm going to use someone new, a Pokemon I just captured. It's pretty well known in the Unova region, so don't be scared when you see it," Ash says with confidence, making Oak, Delia and Juniper's eyes widen as they know what Ash normally does, his own catching strategy. There was no way he could have captured one of the mythical or legendary Pokemon of Unova just being in it for not even an hour. "Ash, you couldn't have," Delia said as Trip smirks. "Looks like your mum's scared for you," Trip mocks as Ash glared. He was gonna go easy on the kid, but now he'll bait the noob down. "You're gonna regret saying that. My mum always believes in me," Ash says. "Go, Zekrom," Ash yells as the legendary dragon of Unova came out of his Pokeball in all of its glory. "No way," Juniper said. "But why would it show to some bum from the counter instead of me?" Trip said, mad, sending out Snivy while Oak and Delia were just speechless. "Take the first attack, Trip," Ash mocked. "Why, you don't underestimate me. Wine Whip, now," Trip says as Ash says, "Pathetic, no damage," taunting the man who said his mum never believed in him. "Zekrom, end this, Fusion Bolt," Ash says as before Trip can even think, the mere speed of Zekrom alone was enough to knock out Snivy. "Fix your attitude, Trip. You don't have the bite to match the bark," Ash said as he watched Trip run to the Pokemon Center embarrassed. He couldn't care less. After all, the boy deserved it for saying his mother never believed in him. He couldn't ever think of a timeline where he would lose to a newbie like Trip. Ash was then talking to Professor Juniper, an assistant who saw the battle, asking questions as Ash explains what happened at the airport. Ash was unintentionally rizzing up Juniper and all the girls around him, which was his unintentional rizz. Ash then decides to leave before Iris can arrive. Not that he knew about her, so he won't be meeting her at this point in the story, but little does Ash know that some of his past rivals in the story have also arrived, including one AJ who still wants revenge on Ash for defeating his gym and ending his 100 score streak. But Ash is traveling. He sees a beautiful view of Pokemon. He would have caught some if it wasn't his goal to be the legendary master. He also, on his way, saw a funny view of pathetic AJ failing to catch a Dareling. Ash smirks. He might not like AJ's obsession with him, and not even AJ in general, but AJ was strong, so he would have a strong person to look out for in the league, which he respected. The only problem with AJ was that unlike him, who uses different Pokemon in different regions because he wants to give the legendary of these regions a time to shine, is that AJ only uses Pokemon he caught in this region because of some sort of weak moral code he has. He eventually arrives at Akumala town. He does not catch Oshawott or Tepig over here and leaves for Straighton City and heads straight to a gym where he is asked which Pokemon he chose. Ash answers correctly with Mew, shocking the gym leaders that this was a legendary Pokemon and that was the legendary Ash Ketchum, the legendary master of the last Pokemon leagues. They then decide, after a game of rock paper scissors, Silent the grass type will battle Ash for the badge, since they couldn't use the first Pokemon he chose to decide. Ash sent out Mew and used a Fire Blast, beating Pansage, earning the first gym badge, the Trio badge. Silent, seeing how weak he is, tells Ash that he will travel around the world and then one day he will challenge Ash to a fight. As Ash smiled and nodded and left, he then makes his way to Naqueen City. On the way to Naqueen City, he battles Trip at the Battle Club, and I'm gonna be brief. Ash smokes him straight up. Zekrom takes out Tranquil with a Fusion Bolt. Mew takes out Servine with a Fire Blast, and Zekrom takes out the Foolish with a Fusion Bolt, and Litwick is downed by a Surf from Mew. Ash smiled and then left after humiliating the noob that said his mom never believed in him for a second time. If you're wondering why Ash is acting like this, don't forget this is a 10-year-old that has never lost a battle, so he has different behavior from canon and he has kind of an ego, so yeah. I remember some people in the comment section asking me why, so yeah, that's why. Anyways, back to the video. Ash then makes his way to Naqueen City Museum where he meets Lerona, the gym leader who says she's heard of Ash but he shouldn't be too confident against her. They agree on a 2-on-2 battle. Ash sends out Mew and Lenora sends out Watchog. Ash has Mew use close combat beating Watchog and then he defeats Lenora's Herdia, which has evolved previously the same way. After that, Ash gets the basic badge and then makes his way through Pinwheel Forest to go to Castelia City. He then goes on Sky Arrow Bridge. After that, he takes care of the Venipede infestation, knocking them all out and then going to the gym. Ash enters the gym like a boss and then challenges the gym leader Berg to a battle. Ash sends out his Mew, who uses a Fire Blast against Berg's Breville, Whirlpede and Levani and beat them. That's all I'm gonna say because that's how easy it was. Ash then heads off to Nimbasa City. He then wouldn't battle Trip because here Iris isn't part of Ash's team, so they wouldn't be delayed, and he wouldn't enter the club battle tournament either because he was not told about it. Ash then makes his way to Nimbasa City where he goes to the Nimbasa City gym, unintentionally rizzing up Elisa when he sends out Zekrom against her, wanting to fight with Zekrom since, well, Zekrom asked him to show that who was the most strongest electric dragon type in the world. He uses a Dragon Breath, knocking out Emolga. Elisa then sends in Zeb Striker, who is beaten by a Zen Headbutt from Zekrom. Finally, Elisa sends out Tynamo, who is defeated by a Slash from Zekrom. After that, Ash gets, well, the gym badge and then leaves. On the way to Driftveil City, Ash battles Alda but is interrupted. You thought I was going to give you that. Not yet boys. After that, they promise to battle when he qualifies for the official World Master Tournament, and if you've been watching Pokemon you know what that is. Ash then makes it to the Driftveil City gym where he challenges Clay, who sends out Rock, but Ash sends in his Mew, who uses Surf to defeat it. After that, Palpitoad is defeated by a single Leaf Storm from Mew. Then Excadrill is defeated by a, well, Surf once again. After that, Ash then heads to Mistralian City and challenges Skylar, the gym leader, who he asks for a proper battle unlike what she was actually doing before. Ash then decides to use Zekrom against her. She sends out Swoobat. Ash uses a Fusion Bolt, defeating it and then repeating the same to Pheasant and Swanna, getting the Jet Badge. Here we will diverge from the main story for a bit as Ash enters the Eindhoek Town tournament where Mew befriends Victini. Yes, this is the Victini movie. Victini and Mew shows him a secret place in the castle. You know which castle I'm talking about, the floating one. As Ash goes in there and sees the light stone, he touches it, but then some light surrounds the stone as Reshiram appears. Ash Ketchum, you're the personification of truth and ideals. If you can beat me with my brother, I will consider joining you, Reshiram says as Ash nods, sending out Zekrom, who uses a Dragon Breath, damaging Reshiram, who also responds with his own Dragon Pulse. The two spam this, but eventually, due to being a high level, Zekrom manages to get Reshiram's health lower than his, as Reshiram accepts being captured and Ash, throws a Pokeball capturing Reshiram. Ash then makes it to Icarus City Gym and heads to the gym, challenging Bryson, who starts off with his Beartic. Ash decides to send out his newly captured Reshiram, surprising Bryson. Reshiram then uses a Fusion Flare, which Ash repeats against Vanillish and Cryogonal, winning the battle and getting the Freeze Badge. Ash then heads towards Opalid City Gym, but he finds out that the city gym is closed, so he decides to head towards Verbank City Gym, which is another gym, which confused Ash because he thought there was only 8 gyms, but Ash says oh well and leaves. On the way there, Ash encountered Meloetta, since Victini and Mew, who were still in the party since Ash hadn't got any other Pokemon, befriended it and he catches it because it wanted to stay with Mew and Victini, to the happiness of the Pokemon. Ash then battles Roxy, a gym leader. Ash uses Reshiram to destroy her team with a Fusion Flare. He defeated all her Pokemon, which included Roxy's Coffin, Scolipede and Garbodor, just by using a Fusion Flare. Ash misses the Junior World Cup in this one and doesn't get the chance to battle Alda in this, so Trip does it as in canon. But while that was happening, Ash was busy catching the forces of nature, Tornadus, Thunderous and Andrus. And not only just that, he also caught the sword trio Barizion, Terrakion and Cobalion, and also even Keldeo. And due to that being part of the movie, he also caught Kyurem as well. Ash even captured Genesect and another female Mewtwo who had the ability to Mega Evolve, because when she heard from Ash that he had a male Mewtwo, she asked to be captured so she can hang around with the male of her race, if you catch my drift and what I mean. Ash now stood ready with his final team he'd selected for the Pokemon Finals, which are going to be Mew, Zekrom, Reshiram, Kyurem, Genesect and Keldeo. However, that did not mean that Ash was not going to use the rest of his Pokemon. He'll be using it in the qualifying rounds and maybe in the semi-finals and stuff like that. So Ash makes it to Unova League Virtuous Conference with Ash fighting Cameron in the first round. He decided to go with the Forces of Nature trio in this one. Ash uses Tornadus against Cameron's Riolu, which shocks everyone. Ash uses a Air Slash, which defeated the Riolu. Moving on to the next round, Ash fights Gary, who uses Blastoise in this. Ash uses his Thunderous. Unfortunately for Gary, he lost to a single Thunderbolt, which puts Blastoise down. After that, Ash beats an unknown trainer with his Landorus using Earthquake, who was using a Joltik. The next battles were now one of the main matchups. It was Ash v Stefan, who had a Lipod, Zebstrika and Swark. Ash uses Virizion, Terrakion and Cobalion. Virizion used his or her Leaf Blade, defeating Stefan's Lipod. Cobalion uses its Sacred Sword, beating Swark with a single hit, and then Terrakion used Earthquake to beat Zebstrika. Ash then moves on to the quarterfinals, where he faces Trip. Ash decided to use "So Ash, I'll finally get my revenge," Trip says as Ash smirked. "You don't know how many have been wrecked by me, only to say the same thing over and over, to be defeated over and over. Let's see, Trip, can you break the streak, or will you be just another number on my list of salty people who couldn't beat me because I beat them?" Ash said, angering Trip. "Tranquil, destroy him," Trip says as he sends out Tranquil as Ash smirks and tosses his own Pokeball. "Zekrom, strike him down," Ash says, gesturing for Trip to make his move. "Air Slash," Trip says. "Tank it and then use Fusion Bolt," Ash says as Tranquil goes in for Air Slash but sees it does nothing. Tranquil gets mad and mad as it evolves, but still nothing. Unpheasant couldn't do any damage as Zekrom sparks up blue lightning surrounding it and then barges into Unpheasant, beating it. "Damn you, go Chandelure, defeat it," yells Trips as Ash returns his Zekrom. "Let's give you the advantage, the type advantage," Ash says as he sends out Genesect. "Genesect, beat it," Ash says as the crowd was in awe of what they had just seen. Another legendary being used by the legendary Ash Ketchum, a Unova legendary at that. "Fire Blast," Trip says, knowing it was a Steel and Bug type, as Ash says nothing. The attack connected, but only a small amount of damage to be seen on Genesect, capturing the awe of the crowd, who were screaming stuff like, "Trip's fucked, he's gonna die." Well, not gonna die, but he's gonna lose, as Ash smirked. Zap Cannon, Ash says as Genesect fires it, beating Chandelure. Come on, Trip. Is that all? Ash mocks as he still hadn't forgive Trip for his comment about Ash's mum. That's it. Vanillux, end him. Trip yells as he sends out Vanillux as Ash smirks. Go Reshiram, Ash says, switching out to Reshiram, surprising everybody as Ash was the hero of not only true ideals but also truth. Use Fusion Flare, Ash says, as Trip says Vanillux was killed. Damn you, how dare you humiliate me. Go Frillish, Trip yelled. Go Keldeo, Ash replied. Secret Sword, Ash said as Frillish was down with a single hit. As he sees Trip getting madder and madder and smiles. Calm down, Trip. Your emotions are making you sloppy. I don't want a boring battle, Ash says. Damn you, Conkeldurr, Earthquake. Trip yells, sending out Conkeldurr. As Ash returns his Pokemon and throws his own Pokemon. Cure him, Glaciate, Ash yells as Trip faints. Trip's Pokemon faints. And then there were one, Ash mocks. Superior, go, defeat him, Trip yells as he says out Superior, as Ash returned to cure him. Now my partner Mew, come out and destroy him, Ash says. Fire Blast, Ash then says as soon as Mew came out, Superior faints instantly from a Fire Blast hitting it as Trip falls to the floor, crying, his ego broken, and Ash just leaves, not wanting to deal with this. Ash is now in the finals as he was being cheered by the crowd saying Ash is gonna win, everything like that. When he sees his opponent, he smiles. AJ, Ash says, let's see how you do against me now. Have you gotten better or are you still the same person who can only ever get close but never win? Ash says as he sent out his Kyurem. As AJ sends out his Embo. Ash uses Blizzard, which defeated Embo because of how much more of a higher level Kyurem was and the fact that it was a legendary, so yeah. Go Samurott, AJ says as Ash recalls his Kyurem and throws his Pokeball, which sends out Go Kyurem, Ash says as Zekrom came out. Zekrom tanks a Hydro Pump from Samurott. Use Bolt Strike, Ash says as he defeats Samurott. Damn you, Superior, let's show him my power, AJ says as Ash returns Zekrom and sends out Reshiram. Reshiram, Blue Flare, Ash says, defeating Superior. You won't win, AJ says, sending out Crocodile as Ash smirks. Returning Reshiram and sending out Keldeo. Keldeo, Secret Sword, Ash says as his Pokemon's attack beat Crocodile with a single hit. Fine, Leveni, go, AJ says as Ash returned Keldeo and sent out his own bug type. Genesect, battle time, Ash said as a shiny red Genesect came out, catching the awe of the audience. They've seen it once before but it was still beautiful. Hyper Beam, Ash says, beating AJ as he returned Genesect. Damn it, it's time for my ace, Charizard, come out and end this, AJ says as Ash smiles. Mew, it's time, finish this, Ash says as Mew comes out. AJ then taps the wrist watch on his hand and Charizard turned into Mega Charizard Y. Charizard, Flare Blitz, AJ said as it connected. Charizard got some damage and Mew was sent flying back a little bit. Mew, Hydro Pump, Ash says as a beam of water connected with Charizard, sending it flying back. Flamethrower, AJ says as Mega Charizard Y recovered and shot a flamethrower at Mew. Mew, use Hydro Pump to counter, Ash says as the two attacks connected. The floor underneath shattered at the mere power as finally the water overpowered the fire and Charizard was hit point blank as it fell to the floor, swirls in his eyes, being knocked out. Winner, Ash, the proctor said as Ash smiled. I win, Ash says in a low tone as he walked out, where he was met by his mum and professor who was congratulating him, but not before Oak said, you should go to the Kalos region. It is where Mega Evolution will originate. Plus, the Pokemon Master Tournament World Cup is soon and you need 6 conference wins to enter. So when you enter, you will be facing all the champions, and if you manage to beat all of them, well then, you become the strongest trainer, the Pokemon Master, Oak said as Ash smiled. His goal, Ash will return soon in Kalos. So guys, that's all for today. Peace.